You know, life has its ups and downs. Turn your pretty face to an ugly frown. Seems that when I fix one thing.
Hello, welcome to The Awakening. I'm your host, Angela Brown. Today's topic for discussion, we're going to be discussing credit. We're going to talk about Vision Credit Services, and my guest today is Chris Bridges, and this is her business, this is her power. So she's going to try to help you and let you know about your credit score and a lot of good things today. So I hope you watch us today. Welcome, Chris, to the show.
Thank you very much.
You're a very pretty lady.
Thank you.
Well dressed.
Thank you. Thank you.
Tell me, why did you get into this? What is Vision Credit Services? Why did you do it?
Vision Credit Services is a consulting company. We really first want to make sure that we educate our clients on the principles of good credit management. We don't really label ourselves as a credit repair company because anyone can do activities, but if you don't know better, you're not going to do better in the way you manage your finances and your credit. And I actually got started, at the time, my husband owned a mortgage company, and I worked side by side with him.
One question, was that an awful hell-raising job?
No, actually.
Was it good?
It was good. It
Really?
was good, yeah. Although we're sort of different in how we, manage ourselves in the office, but we're a good complement with each other.
You got along good together?
Yeah, we complement each other, and I think it worked really well.
Okay, keep on, I'm sorry.
So that's okay. And so I noticed that, he would talk about some of his clients that he wasn't able to get approved based on their credit worthiness. And so, I just offered to take a look at some of the credit reports, and one credit report turned into another and another, and I looked up, and about 50% of my time I was reviewing credit reports and just sharing some simple tips, simple to me, but there were things that at one point in my life I didn't know either. And I realized that people just really didn't know some things that could improve their credit score. And so we sort of, I took from that experience right into, starting the company. So we really all started with just helping one person get approved for a mortgage.
So if someone comes in to you with a 500 credit score, that's not very good, is it?
Well, it's all relative, right? Because a 500 credit score, although a 500 score would probably not allow them to be qualified for a mortgage today, but the range is anywhere from 350 to 800.
Really?
Yeah, as far as a credit score is concerned. But I tell people that, if you had an 800 credit score, you wouldn't need me. So a 500 credit score, at least you know that you have some opportunity to improve the score. So, it really just depends. But Angie, the profile of a credit client is so different today.
Tell me about it.
It could be any of us. It could be our next door neighbors. It's anyone that could have had one derogatory thing happen. So you could be sitting with a 770 credit score 1 month, and 30 days later, if you're late on a mortgage or a car or anything like that, you could be down in the 600s.
Oh,
and so it could
that's
change.
Not good then.
Yeah, it's not good. But I think that's where the education part of it comes in, because people, in some cases don't really understand how credit is made up. What are the credit scoring factors, and
tell me,
what are some of the things that impact it?
Tell me about it.
One of the things that people realize, and one of the things that I teach my clients, is that your credit can be impacted. It's really all based on your ability to pay, right? So
paying on time.
Paying on time
exactly.
is a big part of it. If you miss a payment on something and that creditor is reporting on your credit report, you're going to have a negative impact. I've seen 50 to 100 points reduced from one late payment on a car.
Oh my goodness!
And so sometimes
you don't even get a 30-day grace anymore, huh?
Well, you've got that. Yeah, depending on the creditor. Some the clock ticks from the day that it's the due date, and some it's 30 days from there. So it really just depends on the creditors.
Yeah.
But one thing derogatory that shows up on your credit report is going to have an impact on your score. So late payments, maybe overextending on your balances, like credit card balances. That's a major thing that people don't realize can have an impact on your score.
Over your balance on your credit card. If you got $5,000 and you run it up to $6,000, is that what you're saying?
Well, that's one impact as well. If you have a $1,000 credit limit and you charge more than $300, it can have an impact There's a 30% rule that says maintain your balances, so that ratio between your balance and your limit, 30%. So anything above that can have an impact. Not having credit at all can have an impact, believe it or not.
Not having a job too.
Well, yeah, because if you can't pay, you're going to have an impact.
But you know,
on your
so
credit.
many people have been given homes.
Yeah.
With the low credit score, not even a job, and they get a house.
Well, they won't today.
I know, but when this whole thing started crashing
Yeah.
in, you could get a house.
Yeah.
No credit score, no nothing, not even any credit have you ever had.
Yeah. I actually remember there was
I'm sure you ran into the same kind of business.
There was a Fannie Mae program called My Community.
Yes.
And all you had to have was $500 in the bank.
Exactly.
You could have a 580 credit score.
Zero job.
And well, they sort of wanted you to have a job.
Because I know people who didn't have a job. Yes.
Yeah. So, but I think that's why, unfortunately, we're in the position we're in. You know, the consumers are in the position, the banks, the whole, the industry, the mortgage industry, the market is what it is today. And so that's why it's a lot more tighter guidelines to make sure that people who purchase homes can actually afford those homes and that their risk levels are lower.
You know, the Bank of America got me very, very upset. I've had a card with them for about 24 years. And, you know, when the crunch came down, they started, combing through things. They took my card away because they didn't think I was making enough of money to cover my payments. And I'd been with them for 24 years. You don't think I wasn't PO'd, girl?
Yeah, I can imagine.
Oh, you should have seen my nasty letter.
Yeah.
Cut up the card, and I said, you know where you can stick this.
Yeah. And unfortunately, credit card companies have to get behind the car dealer or the car financing companies and the mortgages because they have no collateral. And so what's happened with them, and they're still doing it, but we saw it a couple of years ago for sure, is they basically, they had to do assessments and determine what's my risk, how much risk do I have? And even people who had a lot of credit established, limit was out there extended.
Several years, never late on a payment.
Right, but if you didn't use that credit, they were reducing your limit because they had to, for them it was about protection. It was going into a defense mode.
But why take from someone who, like myself, who never had a late payment and had it all those years?
Well, unfortunately, you're just a number. Like you're just, you're just a social security
I'm just
number.
One big
you're just
dumb number, huh?
Well, you're just one person.
Give it to
in the big pond when they make a decision like that, and it does impact. And what people don't realize about that too is your current creditors have the legal right to look in at your credit report. And they can look in and see, how you're paying other creditors, how much other credit you have extended to you, and they use that information to make decisions about how they may manage your account.
And I had the same thing happen to me about 4 months ago. Someone got a hold of one of my credit card numbers and went to Capital One and got their own credit card and their name on my account.
Really?
Yes, ma'am.
So you were a victim of identity theft?
Yes, I was. But with my big mouth, I took care of that within 30 days. I threatened I was going to sue them because they had no right to give out my credit card number to somebody without me talking to them first.
Absolutely.
They didn't even talk to me. They just went behind my back and did it. So that's all straightened out, and I got back every single penny because the person even bought a car.
Oh, wow.
Because I had a $35,000 credit limit.
Right.
They bought a car.
With a credit card?
With a credit card in my name. But her name was put on there. They sent her
as an authorized user.
As an authorized user.
Wow, that's the first I've ever heard of anyone buying a car with a credit card.
Yes, ma'am. $15,000 car, no, $35,000 credit limit.
Wow. Well, identity theft is rampant. I mean, it impacts over 9 million people per year.
I had to go to the police department.
Oh,
file
absolutely.
charges. And I didn't think I was ever going to get it back, but they gave me back every nickel, dime, and penny.
Right.
Because they could have been sued big time.
Oh, absolutely. What you may want to do is take it a step further and get yourself some identity theft protection.
I've already done that.
Very good.
I've already
because
done
if you can be a victim one time,
you can do it again.
Yes, someone else can do it again, or this person may if they didn't actually find them and move forward with it. Wow.
But you have to press charges and go through all that. But I was going to press the house apart if I had to. Because you just don't take somebody's name and give them a credit card with another name without contacting me.
Absolutely.
So
well, that's one of the reasons why we use the tagline, how much is your name worth? We also ask clients to think about how much can a number impact your life, because that Social Security number is powerful.
Oh my gosh, yes.
It is powerful. Powerful, powerful thing to have, whether good or bad.
Yes, I know. And I mean, but we have such good police here in Bowie that I didn't have any problems at all.
Oh, that's good.
I knew where the person was, and I knew just about everything I needed to know. I had to do my homework, and they served, I guess, a warrant against her.
Absolutely.
But I think that credit card company was very upset because they did no, they should never have done that to me.
No, absolutely. And you know, a lot of times with identity theft, it's usually a family member or someone that you know.
It was a family member.
And that's sort of that's where that fence a lot of people don't want to cross, because they know the person, but they don't really want to get them in trouble. And you know, I'll get a call and say, well, what can I do about it? And I'll say, your only options are absolutely, you have to move forward.
Press charges.
Because it's fraud, it's illegal. So you either move forward with that or you pay the debt. But it's one or the other. Yeah, you either have to be responsible for it or defend yourself.
All right, let's get back to you.
Sure.
So how long have you been in credit services now? How many years?
Yeah, so we started doing credit consulting in 2006. And so we've been working with clients on, you know, doing a number of different things. We're actually incorporated in 2009, I believe it is. So we're an LLC. We do, like I said, credit consulting, you know, education awareness, and a number of other things. So for the last few years, yeah. Absolutely.
And you and your husband get along? Do you still do this together, or he's
no,
got his
we
thing,
don't.
you got your thing?
Yeah, no, he's in mortgage financing. He's doing great. He's doing something, you know, completely different. Although, of course, our businesses, you know, blend because they're, you know, similar. So it's funny because he actually does some community outreach and teaching, and he can teach a credit class just as well as I can.
Really?
So I think I've taught him well.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many times does he do it weekly or a daytime job for? If I said I wanted to go learn about credit, what would I have to do?
Well, first, don't go to him.
Go to you.
Yeah, come to me.
I wanted you to say that. That's all. I just wanted you to say that.
Yeah. So
this show is for you.
Yeah.
And what you can do.
So for me, for clients to contact me, one of the things that we do is we do a free consultation. So anyone that is free, I know.
That is not today. You've got $100 to walk in the door.
Yeah. No, it's a free consultation. No, it's a phone consultation. But what it allows us to do is to make sure that, you know, this is a service that's going to benefit and be of value to our clients. We want to set expectations up front, because I think that's one of the problems why the industry of credit restoration has had such a bad name. It's because expectations aren't set.
And what do you mean by expectations?
Expectations on both sides, mainly from the client side. Trust, you know, being informed about the process. You know, this is not something, there's no quick fix in credit repair. There's certainly some strategies, and if you go on the internet, you'll find thousands of tips. There's a lot of things that can be done to improve your credit or to change your credit profile. But at the end of the day, right, so your credit score may not have, you know, gotten to a 400 or a 300 overnight. It took some time to get there.
Goodness,
so the biggest thing for us is to teach you how that may have happened, because life happens also. So, you know, like I said in the very beginning, credit is impacted by your ability to pay. It doesn't mean that you just didn't want to pay your bills. It could mean that something happened. You know, we had a hardship, we had a loss of income. I mean, anything could happen, and then of course it will impact our ability to pay. But if we understand how the principles work and how the scoring systems work.
How do they work?
So, well, the principles,
you've got to have a JOB, I'm sure.
Well, if you've got to have a way to pay the bills.
Okay.
But then you've got to understand which bills to pay, right? So, you know, believe it or not, people will pay utility bills and wireless bills and, you know,
television.
The cell phone bills, right? The cable bill, Comcast.
Yes.
But they may not pay the Visa, or they may not pay the car.
They shouldn't have it then.
But here's the thing I ask people to think about. Which one goes on your credit report?
Which one does go? I thought they all did.
No, it's the car and the credit card. Your
How
utility
about television
bills,
payments that goes on?
No, not unless you're financing the television. If you're leasing or financing the television, then that's going to report.
Right.
But your creditors are typically your credit card companies, your mortgages, your car, you know, student loans, those type of things. What we call alternative credit, that's your utility bills, your insurance bills. Now
there's water bills.
Yeah, water bills.
Gas
now,
bills.
Don't get me wrong. You've got to pay your debt, right?
Yes,
so they're
you
all
do.
debt.
Yeah,
and you've got to
yeah.
pay it all. But paying those things before you pay something that's being reported could have an impact. So if you've got $50, where am I going to apply this 50? I'm not talking about month after month. I'm talking about 1 month. Pay that account that's being reported to the credit bureaus.